I playtested SUPERVIVE 1.0 last month, and honestly, I kinda wish I hadn't. Ever since then, I've been playing the current open beta, and it's been rough. It's hard to stay locked in when you know just how much the game is going to change. Unfortunately, I can't show you any footage of 1.0 yet, unless I want a very polite lawsuit from Mr. Joe Tug himself. So today, we're going to use a little imagination, a lot of talking, and some examples from my playtest experience. So enjoy the B-roll, and hopefully I can find relevant things to put on the screen. This has been hard. Now there's a ton coming in 1.0, new characters, vehicles, map changes, tutorials, skins, and completely overhauled main menu. But in this video, I'm focusing on the system that changes everything. The Armory, a system the devs have been hyping up for a while, but does it deliver? Let me give a quick crash course on how it works, and then I'll tell you what I actually think. Inside matches, you'll earn a new currency called Prisma by doing the usual, killing mobs, players, objectives, all that good stuff. But if you die, you'll lose half your Prisma. So how do you keep it? You extract it. And no, SUPERVIVE is not becoming an extraction game. Extractors are scattered around the map, usually near forges. After a short channel, your Prisma will get banked, and as a bonus, you'll usually get blue armor or other rewards. Or you could just not die, and then you could just keep it by winning. Now here's the key part. Prisma is spent outside the match in the Armory. That's where you can open capsules or buy equipment for your future games. And I say equipment, but really, equipment as we know it is gone. Instead of 2 equipment slots of boots like we have now, 1.0 introduces a new hunter loadout of 2 grips, 1 kick, 2 relics, and up to 5 perks. So let's break those down. Grips are passive, sometimes conditional ones. Stuff like your abilities now burn enemies, your LMB attacks faster, or your LMB even gains a longer range. You can buy them at base camps. Kicks are your new boots, mobility focused passives. Things like dashing farther or gaining movement speed after dealing damage. Also bought at base camps. Relics are huge. These completely replace powers, which have been around basically since the beginning of SUPERVIVE. Some relics you'll recognize like Hover Wings, Bungee Gum, or Air Blast, but there are plenty of new ones. Passive buffs like trade 15% dash haste for 20% more damage, or your LMB reduces your ability cooldowns, or even just a raw 30% ability haste. Relics are the core of your build. They define your playstyle, whether you're leaning into damage, utility, or tankiness. You mostly get them from relic shops at the forges, but they can also drop rarely around the map from mobs and vaults. As for the old active powers that didn't make the cut, most of them, like Emergency Platform or Two-Way Teleporter, are now consumables. And yes, there's a lot of new consumables. Then we've got perks. You can equip up to 5 of them. These are passive boosts like UAV Jammer, increased glide speed, or longer CC duration. But there are some other wild ones, around almost like 60 or 70 in total, and like 15 exotic perks. There's some like 15% ability damage, or your spells cost no mana. Oh, and souls now also take up a perk slot, and yes, perks can be dropped or traded with your teammates. One key thing, perks aren't in the Armory, they are found entirely in match, usually by opening vaults around the map. Now let's bring it all together with an example. Let's say I'm playing Celeste, my favorite character, and I want to build around her LMB. I pick grips that give me extra attack speed and longer range, then I pair that with relics that reduce my cooldowns every time I land an LMB, as well as have a flat 30% ability haste. And finish it off with kicks that give me move speed whenever I deal damage. That means if I'm weaving LMBs and RMBs properly, I'm basically machine gunning out spells non-stop while also getting movement speed from my kicks. It's what I would call a LMB RMB weaving build. High spam, high tempo, but it does come with its downsides. I have no utility to help land my ult. I could have gone for a completely different setup with completely different items, maybe something focused on big ultimates or escapes or utility, but this is just one example. To really understand how you create builds like this, we have to go back to the Armory and look at how you actually unlock all this stuff with Prisma. At the start, you'll have nothing unlocked, just the base version of each slot. We're talking gray tier grips, basic kicks, and no relics. To unlock new items, you'll spend Prisma in one of 2 ways, through the daily and weekly Armory shop, or by buying capsules which give you a random mix of grips, kicks, and relics. Let's say I get lucky and pull Rumel's Hoverwinger, the new version of the Hoverwings relic. I've now unlocked it at 1 star. That means next time I'm in game, I can walk up to the relic shop and purchase it. But it's only at 1 star version. Now you might be asking, 1 star, well, what does that even mean? Every grip, kick, and relic in the game has a 1 to 3 star upgrade system. For grips and kicks, the upgrades are usually pretty simple, like 1% LB range per star or 2% movement speed when you damage someone. For relics though, the upgrades can be huge. Some gain bonus effects or completely new behaviors. For example, hover wings at 3 star no longer breaks when hit by an impact force, so hover wings through air rings might be back. But how do you get items to 3 star? Duplicates. Every time you pull the same item again, whether through capsules or buying it from the daily or weekly shop, it levels up. For instance, to level from 1 star to 2 star, you might need 3 duplicates. And 2 star to 3 star, you might need 5 duplicates. I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm just guessing. The more copies you get, the more you upgrade. There's also a weekly chest system that gets better and better and gives you larger rewards based on your best games played of the week. Now if you're a competitive player, you might be freaking out, but don't worry, custom games have a setting that lets everyone play on an even playing field. But what about in ranked? Yep, in ranked it's totally possible to queue in with 1 star everything and run into someone with a fully loadout of 3 stars. And yeah, that might sound terrifying, but honestly, I think it's gonna be okay. The trade-off of having an unlock system that's fun, meaningful, and makes you want to grind is probably worth a little imbalance every once in a while. So that's the gist of the system. But does it actually deliver? Honestly, I think it does. It's not perfect, but it solves a lot of the problems SUPERVIVE has had for a long time. Let's start with a big one, hunter role identity. Right now in the current build, the biggest build diversity usually boils down to one question. Are you going tank or damage? That's it. The old equipment system didn't really reinforce what a character was meant to do. So the devs would have to balance the game so full AP Oath or full AP Felix wouldn't run around one-shotting everyone. But here's something I forgot to mention earlier. In 1.0, items don't give raw AP or flat HP anymore. That means your base stats matter way more. So yeah, you can still build damage on Oath or Felix, but they're going to feel tankier and hit a bit less hard because that's just how they're tuned by default. And that's kind of the point. With the Armory, tanks can feel like tanks. They're not one-shotting you out of nowhere, but they still bring pressure, survivability, and utility. That change opens up a ton of room to create more interesting builds within a role, not just picking between do I go full glass cannon or meatball mode. Now you can ask, what kind of tank am I? Am I a disruptor? Am I a support? Am I a peel bot? You get space to express that, and I think that's a big W for a curse problem that I've seen for many years. Next up, progression. Definitely one of the biggest problems SUPERVIVE had at launch was retention. Tons of people tried it, but then dropped off. I think the Armory helps fix that. It gives you a reason to play the game and even play normals. You earn Prisma, you get upgrades, and most importantly, you feel like you're making progress every time you queue up. That alone could make a massive difference. It also punishes smurfing. If you're thinking about making a new account, good luck re-unlocking everything, have fun with your great kicks. Because the system is built around capsules, rotations, and shops, it feels really expandable. I wouldn't be surprised if they do seasonal resets, or even dropped themed relics and perks over time. It's a solid foundation for long-term content. Some people will look at Prisma and they'll look at the daily and weekly shop and they'll think that you could probably buy with real money, with US dollars or whatever currency you use. It is all in-game currency and it's not something that you could just buy or get boosts or whatever. And then finally, powers. SUPERVIVE has always struggled with getting new players to actually use their active powers. Now that they're locked behind progression systems and slowly drip-fed through the Armory, it kind of forces you to pay attention to them. They're not just clutter anymore, they're part of your build, and I think that's a big win. But okay, yeah, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and there are definitely a few trade-offs here. For one, yeah, you can absolutely queue into someone who has a 3-star hover wings, while you're still stuck with your basic one. It's not game-breaking, but it does matter. It's a small power gap, and some players won't love that. Also, there's just a lot to learn. You've got grips, kicks, relics, and now up to 75 perks. But the good news is, you're not learning them all at once. They unlock over time, so the complexity scales with your experience. Additionally, it might feel bad if one of your 3-star items gets nerfed, because, well, you invested a lot of your Prisma into it, and the system is definitely not going to be balanced on launch. And finally, star levels are a little vague mid-match. It's not always clear who has what level of relic or grip, that could definitely lead to some, wait, how did I die, or how did they survive that moments. But for me, the trade-offs are worth it. The Armory adds depth, identity, and actual progression, things SUPERVIVE desperately needed. It gives me a reason to come back and try weird builds and test new perks and chase new combos. It's not just about unlocking items, it's about unlocking playstyles, creating builds, and that's the kind of system that can keep a game alive. So yeah, that's the Armory. It's not just a new system, it is the main system now. It touches everything. It changes how you build, how you play, and how you think about each character. And even with a few rough edges, I think it's a huge step forward for SUPERVIVE. I'm really curious to see how it evolves once it's in the player's hands, especially when people start cooking up crazy builds that are going to be ridiculously broken. But for now, that's all I've got. Let me know what you think about the Armory down below, or if you have any questions. Also, check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/RyanLemur. I'll see you all in 1.0.